Hey, welcome to episode 37 of the Bad Batch podcast. Whether you've seen one Star Wars movie or have mastered all content of the Star Wars universe, this podcast is for you. I'm your co host, Justin Samoy, and I'm here with Drew Criswell
Happy to be here.
and BJ Davis.
What's up?
And today we have a very special guest who has been on the podcast before to talk about Star Wars Rebels, and we're excited to have him back. Welcome, Nick Snow.
Oh, I am happy to be back, boys.
Yeah, so the reason we have a guest today is because Nick was a huge fan and was excited to talk about Visions, like we all are, which premiered last Wednesday, which was 5 days ago. It's the 27th for reference. I don't know what day it was, but yeah,
We'll
we're
let them do
excited.
the math.
Yeah, we're excited to talk about that, but I think we have some quick news to just go over real quick before we dive into that.
Yeah, just really quick, because I know we've talked about the slate of content for 2022 that's coming out is rapidly approaching. So both the Andor like the complete series and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series have both wrapped filming. So that's exciting. I'm not sure exactly when those are supposed to drop at like what points of the year, but they are both, I guess from right now, it's supposed to be 2022, which is exciting that that's done. And like Boba Fett has been done filming, I believe. So the three like big live action slate for 2022 are wrapped. Principal photography.
There we go. Good word. Yeah, no, that's exciting. Drew has said this before that Obi-Wan has wrapped filming, but this time it's confirmed.
But this time I mean it.
He actually means it this time. And yeah, Boba Fett has to be done because it's supposed to come out this year. And then also it's good to just get an update on
Come
Andor.
out December.
Yeah, I think Mandalorian just started filming like a couple weeks ago, I think. So everything is kind of like slowly rolling out or finishing up, which is good.
I ask this every time, but like the Obi-Wan series it's between like
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
4. Okay.
It's like 7 to 9 years after 3.
And the reason I know that too is because they always bring up a point of saying like, oh, there's this one line in Return of the Jedi where they say Obi-Wan once thought as you did. And it's like, no, in Star Wars, they just do everything they possibly can to cover their tracks.
Yes,
Exactly.
every line.
Make a whole show about a sentence.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
classic.
kind of what they did with Solo.
Pretty much.
And Rogue One.
Mhm.
Yeah, Rogue One especially, yeah.
And then Clone Wars, Anakin never met Grievous in the show because of his one line.
Yeah. You're shorter than I expected.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, it's like I guess it's cool that they can do that. 'Cause yeah, I mean that's what Solo definitely was with like the Kessel Run and then
Just taking small details and then just expanding upon them like crazy.
yeah, I think the Solo one though actually needed to happen because people are like Kessel's distance, it's not speed or blah blah blah. So it worked out for Solo. I'm also a huge fan. We all know that.
You are really?
Yeah. So well, Marsha Lucas, I think that's her name. She was like the editor of the original trilogy. She was married to George Lucas. And I mean, I think you can tell by the differences between the sequel, or not the sequels, the original trilogy and the prequels, that George Lucas was definitely completely on his own for the prequels, because those aren't like my favorites. I love the prequels, but like some of the pacing is definitely not there. And Marsha Lucas brought some, or I'm sorry if this is not her name, but she said something about that and how she hated, or like she cried because she didn't like the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So funny.
And she was like also talking about like, because they're asking her about the sequels and stuff. And I mean, she kind of said like what a lot of people have been saying. Like, she was like, I love Kathleen Kennedy. She's like always been fantastic, like always been like just a like lights out producer, insane. But like everybody that was involved with making it, like she named like people by name. She was like Kathleen Kennedy, like J.J. Abrams, Ryan Johnson. She was like, they do not know what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
Like it was like that trilogy was a absolute mess.
I was furious when they killed Han Solo. Absolutely, positively, there was no rhyme or reason to it. You don't go to the Jedi store, you don't get the magic of Star Wars. You're getting rid of Han Solo. That's just part of her quote.
Mhm.
Just brought that up. But yeah, JJ Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, talk to me.
Yeah,
So
because she
funny.
was literally saying like they were just making like big budget movies and using like a franchise to do it kind of thing. Whereas like they didn't take into account what made it what it was,
Mhm.
which is like something that we've talked about many times
At
before with the
length
sequels.
and bring
Yeah.
up
This is making me
every time
sad.
we can.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like we'll get to this in a little bit, but like BJ, weren't we just talking about how there was like a tweet or something where someone took one of the episodes of Visions and was like, "This is what the sequel should have been."
Yeah, that's actually what Nick texted me at first, and then I
Oh,
also
okay, yeah.
tweet.
There you go, full circle.
Yeah,
I have that in my notes too.
Oh
that-
shit, my bad.
No, you're good. But yeah, no, I'm pumped to talk about that. Yeah, but you're right.
All right. I mean, like that was like kind of the biggest news of the week. And I know we're all
Yeah.
excited to talk about Visions. So we can just get into that. But for those of you who haven't seen Visions, there
Mhm.
will be a spoiler warning for each episode, even though I guess it's technically not canon, or it can be like head canon, whether or
Yeah.
not. But yeah, if you haven't seen it or even heard of Visions, it is like this animated show that was released on Disney Plus by Star Wars, and each episode is taken by a different director, a different writer, and a different animation department, all in like the anime style and themes. And it follows a lot of like the standard anime tropes, but it is very good. And it was like I was excited with every episode, even if some were like didn't quite hit it for me, but like I appreciated each episode for what they're worth, and we're excited to talk about each one. So, do you guys have any starting thoughts before we dive into each episode?
yes.
Oh,
You go first, Drew.
I
and
would-
then
I was
Nick,
just
and
gonna-
I'll go.
Perfect. I'm just gonna say from like the standpoint of like how we got it, because this is the first time Disney Plus has like really dropped everything all at once. So I want to see what you guys thought about like getting it all in like more of like a Netflix style, getting like a bunch of episodes, even though they were pretty short. I mean, some ran like almost 22 minutes or something, but it was definitely like a change up from all the other like Marvel or Star Wars stuff that we've gotten on Disney Plus before, just like different format.
Yeah, no, I definitely liked it all at once. But looks like Nick's about to say something. Go off.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I like for this series specifically. I do like that it is all at once because I feel like the excitement of big shows like Game of Thrones or any big show like that when you're waiting week by week.
Mhm.
There's just some sort of element of excitement waiting from like, all right, like big cliffhanger from the last episode. Can't wait for this one. Each of these were all so individual and so new, and each one is like, you could just kind of binge them all. You didn't have to have any sort of element of suspense going to each one. So I like the idea of just getting it all out at once.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I could
Yes,
definitely
and-
see the show losing steam if it was
Yeah.
not all at once, because
Yeah.
even the Bad Batch was like a continuous story, but each after like a couple of episodes or not episodes, but like there's a spaces of episodes where you're like, oh, like just these should all come out at once.
Or like,
Yeah.
or you're like, oh, I waited a whole week for this
Mhm.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like not enough chatter about it because nothing was like happening. I
Yeah,
guess not
yeah.
that it wasn't happening, but for this show, everything's individual. Like you don't need to create chatter between each episode
Mhm.
or like your social media, whatever Disney was doing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it all at once.
I'm gonna say about Visions, I love anime and I loved how they put this out. I hope more people watch anime because of it. I hope people who watch anime and haven't watched Star Wars start watching Star Wars because of it. So
Mhm.
I think it's great. And I just got Nick into anime just in time for this to drop.
I have a great appreciation for it all now.
Let's go.
This is perfect timing. Yeah, BJ did get me into it. And now I like
Yeah.
text him anytime I finish a show. I'm like updated rankings. And I'll send him like screenshots of my notes every single time.
Yeah, of every anime that he's watched so far, all
That's
4 or
fantastic.
5 of them. Yeah. All right, let's jump into episode 1.
Yeah,
I was gonna start and just say I think I tricked BJ into getting me out to the podcast. I want to thank you guys. I did a subtle little tactic on him. I
It
don't
was
even
not
think he
subtle at
realized
all.
it.
It wasn't subtle.
And he had no idea. It was after every episode we discussed. I would say, can't wait to discuss in further detail on the pod. And I think it kind of like incepted into his head, like, oh, maybe I should get Nick back on the pod for this.
There's like 4 texts in a row, like, please let me be on the podcast. Oh my gosh, I want to talk. Please let me
It's all about planting the little seed.
It was so subtle.
Yeah,
it was like at 11:40 at night.
It was pretty pretty good of me. That's all I want to say. So thanks guys for
of course,
accepting.
dude, happy to have you.
So,
It's a perfect way to play the game.
Oh yeah, before we get into this first episode, I just wanted to say, like, when I was looking at the cast list for the show, I was mentioning it to the listeners, I was mentioning it to these guys beforehand, but it's crazy, like, the amount of cast that they have in the show for the English portion. And the reason I like this is just in my head, and I just want to get this out before I get to say it, but I think that all of these like A-list high level actors are in the show is because, like, I get to be a part of Star Wars and I don't have to be the lead of any of them. Because if you think about the leads of show, or think of each trilogy and think of the lead of each one and how successful their career is outside of Star Wars. Like, no offense to Mark Hamill, but he's the Joker and he does like cool voice things. But like, he's Luke Skywalker, and Hayden Christensen got so much crap for Anakin, and then Daisy Ridley.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there's so much pressure that goes along with it, where like, and especially as we all know, like with like the Star Wars fan community, which is can be extremely toxic a lot of the time, like taking on that mantle of like being the lead in it, and there's so much pressure because everyone is like, there's gonna always be backlash. So to just be like the voice in something in the background, people are like, oh, they're in that. It's like, collect the check, be in Star Wars, and get out.
Yeah, and like all like the side characters have like blossoming careers, like Harrison Ford, Ewan McGregor,
Natalie Portman.
Yeah, Natalie Portman, and then they're like right there too, like not quite the lead. They're like one of the main characters, but it's just funny. So
if you're gonna be a main character in Star Wars, you have to have Mark Hamill's approach. He had a quote one time that said like, are you ever going to be upset that you're only going to be known for Luke Skywalker? He's like, am I going to be upset about that? Like, I didn't think I was ever going to be remembered. So he's like, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I'd be stoked. But it's just like, I feel like for these people's head who are like, I need to, I need to be me. I'm not blah, blah, blah. No offense to actors. I'm sure they're great. And if you want me in Star Wars, I'll do it. And I'll be the lead. You guys can shout at my career. All right, let's dive into the first episode, which was The Duel. And the synopsis of it was: a wandering stranger with mysterious past defends a village. And I believe this one takes place after the First Order has fallen. And I tried to figure out which each of these episodes where they would be in timeline. And just because I saw First Order helmets and things like that. But this one, I think this one, like, definitely one of my favorite ones, is a great one to start out with. And it was directed by Takanobu Mizuno and written by Mitsuyasu Sakai. So just to give them credit for it. And it was a great story. And yeah.
This is also one of the only ones that I think that they released another like form of like media on. They had like a very small it was like a book or something, right?
Yeah, they have a book. I think it's a short
short story kind of thing.
Yeah.
Slight background.
Yeah, it's like this Ronin persona, and it takes inspiration like directly from, I think it's called Toho. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that for people who love that film, but
it's like from like Kurosawa films that Lucas used like in combination with a bunch of other stuff as inspiration.
Yeah, and like this animation style with like the cross stitch, or not cross stitching, but like cross shading and like constantly changing. Dude, it was so cool. This was like, I think my visual favorite one.
I've never seen any sort of animation like that ever, which I thought was really cool. I tried really hard not to compare every other one episode to this one, but it was hard. I mean, it was just such a good one to start, and it's definitely up there in my top tier. But it was awesome.
I really liked it was kind of black and whitish. It was like sepia, and then when they showed the lightsabers, it was the actual color.
Yeah, all the lasers.
Let me look up. The animation style is very similar to another anime. I just have to figure out. It's called on Netflix, Doro Hi Doro. that one's actually super violent, so don't watch it with your kids. There's a lot of blood, but it was very similar animation in the movement and everything.
Yeah,
And so-
and I think something they did that was really cool, like obviously like yeah, drawing from other like similar and this is more like a broad stroke thing that they did that stood out because it was the first one. Where obviously it's different, they have different animation styles and stuff, but something that was like consistent throughout was it really did feel like Star Wars, like and it wasn't necessarily like at one point or another, like they just had a lot of stuff that like would trigger like nostalgia and stuff, like especially like the scores and like the sound effects. I think that they like nailed that because it would be easy just to make it seem like you were in like any other like anime like cool story, but
Mhm.
then to have like just like familiar sound and stuff and just like slight things, it was really cool how they did that to kind of throw up, but definitely in
Yeah.
this one.
It honestly makes sense that Star Wars is in anime. Like, Star Wars is like a space western, and then Western movies are based off of samurai films, and
Mhm.
then anime. So it's like all the themes of Star Wars and animes,
Yeah.
and like they're like very similar, and like especially through this series,
lot of
like all
crossover.
like the tropes that they go through, which I'm not mad about, but like this one was like the mysterious man, like Mandalorian vibes. Like the Mandalorian is this type of
Is it
story.
Ronin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
I think they
loved
did
it.
a good. I think they did a good job also with like making it feel like Star Wars with all the incorporations of the different species that they had there, just playing like kind of all of these different roles that you don't see like a Transocean not as a bounty hunter. You see him as like the county sheriff or whatever it is. Just all these different roles just to show how big the universe really is in their world.
Yeah. How would you guys think of the first kill that the Sith lady had? I forgot her name. It was Lucy Liu. I know that, but where she like stabbed with the lightsaber, then opened it
It
up.
just opened.
Oh,
I wasn't
yeah.
expecting her to use it like that. That was crazy. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's how this show's gonna go, and that was like probably the coolest like action. That was the coolest kill in the show.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, like this is
Yeah.
that was sick.
Yeah,
And then like
exactly.
the sheath with the lightsaber,
Mhm.
dude. It
I
was
thought
like,
the umbrella thing was pretty funny. I was telling BJ how it's like at the very end of the episode, it's like the samurai was walking out with the umbrella. He's like, "Here you go, sir. Thank you for your hospitality." And it's just like the second half of like an umbrella. He's like, "This is for me." Like, I don't know what use this guy's gonna get out of
You
this.
can't
Like,
do anything with that.
but he was like, "This broken umbrella is for you."
yeah, he took the kyber crystal out and gave it to the kid sheriff or whatever, the kid chief.
Yeah.
So, but it was cool when he like opened it up and there's just like it's
Kyber
like
crystals all
Grievous
in there.
vibes instead of collecting
Yeah.
sabers, just the crystal. Like that was
Mhm.
That was really
I'm gonna say it. I don't really understand what he was though. Like what benefit he got of collecting all of those. Like did anybody call him? Did anybody pay him? Is he just walking and
I'll explain what I think, because they said he's a Ronin vibes, so that means he was a part of the Sith, realized the Sith are bad, and was like, I need to stop this. And then he was starting just to collect them because he's like,
Okay.
I'm going to defeat as many Sith as I can. That's why he said he wished he was a Jedi.
okay.
He's like, yeah.
oh.
Mhm.
That makes sense. I was like kind of confused. I'm like, what's this guy's income? How did he like stumble upon her?
He's a
Does he have a
wanderer.
401k?
Imagine if that guy didn't fix the droid before the
Yeah.
it was boiling or the water was boiling.
Yeah.
It's like this better be boiling. You have 3 minutes. I'd be like, oh my god, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
It's a bad day.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I thought it was a good episode, and like the final kill where he like oh yeah, like how the hilt was a lightsaber too, and he like tricked her and just sliced her. That was cool.
Mhm.
That was great.
I think it was a good one
I
to
like it.
kick it off with too.
It was a good one, and like, yeah, I was like, oh, this show is gonna be like very all over the place. Like, just they're really experimenting, which was like I was completely fine with. I think you have to go into this with fresh eyes, not expecting like some epic space battles. I don't think anyone really did,
Mhm.
but you just have to.
Until you got to like the twins, and then you got your epic space battle.
Mhm. Yeah. So before we like give a rating for this episode, even though we really liked it, we're gonna make a tier list at the end, and it has to be unanimous. with our what we like S tier to D tier. So just letting the listeners know and the viewers. But let's jump to the next episode, which was Tatooine Rhapsody. So this was an
Ugh.
ex Padawan.
I'll talk to you guys later. Okay. Let me know when we get to episode 3.
Yeah, this is an ex Padawan with big dreams of a musician with his band. This was directed by Taku Kimura and written by Yasumi Adarashi. And I will say that this episode was the most experimental and I think had the most original, like original, like I don't know if that's the right word, but like the most different story, because all of them, like most of them revolve around the Force, like, you know, someone like a comeback story, or like, you know, helping families. Like this one was the most experimental. And you know, this guy, he starts out as a Padawan and you're like, okay, he's running, like Order 66 is happening, had a great start, and then he is in a band playing like alternative rock or like punk rock, and it was like nothing I've ever seen in Star Wars before. And this guy, like when Disney handed them the thing like, hey, we want you to make an episode revisions, he was like, all right, I'm gonna take some of these characters and then I'm just writing a completely different story. And I will say I did like the fresh take. Was it my favorite episode? No.
Yeah, this was certainly the one where they drew on like canon the most, where they like use it as like a crutch the most. I will say this was like my least favorite one, just because like to me it made no sense. Like the way the story like just went, I don't know. It threw me off and I was kind of like, okay, we can go to the next one. Kind of like it just didn't in my mind, just like didn't matter to me.
If it was a week by week series, you would have stopped the series.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was talking about when I was like, oh, if I wait a week for that, I don't know.
Yeah, and this animation too is like Hamtaro vibes. I don't like, you know, how to describe it, but you know, very bubbly, like Boba Fett. I was like, is this really a kid Boba Fett or is this the art style? And I was like, oh, this is full blown adult Boba Fett. So
that was cool that they had Tamara Morrison in there.
And Joseph
Gordon-Levitt. Also, was like barely any fighting in it too.
You know, it was like a musician's story.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna like try and kill them at the end, but no, they literally just played their music and then did an encore. And
that was it.
That was it.
This was a good one where, you know, I was worried about not comparing everything to the first episode. This was like a palate cleanser. I was like, okay, this is good. I can start fresh after this one. But I did kind of like the scene where it's like they're playing in the band and they're like super popular right now. And then it like pans over to the Cantina band and they're all getting like mad because these guys are so popular. It's like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one of the only ones I could see as being canon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the one that lived in the universe probably the most.
I think I have another one that could make it in there. We'll wait till we get there. So yeah. You know, we'll do a tier list for this one. It's probably going to tier high.
Wait, Justin, when do you know around what time period that would have been in?
This
just
one,
like right after Order 66.
I think on IMDb, this one said after season 1 of The Bad Batch. It was the only one that was like that specific, and there was another one that had a specific one, which is the one I think it can be canon. But we'll wait till we get to that one.
Because all the other ones are just very vague in their time. Because I mean, like the cool thing that they did was none of it had to be canon, so like no one can get like upset about it, which is great. But yeah, I guess like this is the one where you could kind of place it, because all the other ones have like aspects of things where you're like maybe it's them, but then they have something that like completely contradicts it. Where you're like, all right, which is the whole point of it, I guess.
I actually didn't mind the song. Obviously, this was like weird. I don't think they listen to this kind of music in Star Wars, but you know, it was fun. It was a fun little palate cleanser. That's a great way to put it. The next episode was The Twins, and I'll go over the synopsis first. Twin Darksider siblings. They share a Star Destroyer, and they clash over loyalty. It is directed by Hiroyuki Amashi and written by him as well. So, or her.
I think this is one of the most talked about ones going into it. Like, because when they released like some of the descriptions and like from the trailers and stuff, I know this one was like highly anticipated and talked about. Like,
yeah, this one has a lot of promo.
Yeah.
compared to the
Yeah.
rest of the episodes.
Yeah, because I mean, like, go ahead. No, you got it.
No, I wasn't. I was just gonna go ahead.
So they, I guess it like, it's probably was that anticipated because it basically is like a play on the Luke and Leia thing in a way, where it would be like, what if, it was like a what if in my mind. It was
Mhm.
it was like very similar to like Marvel what if kind of thing.
I think I have that what if comparison with another one. The thing with this one's like, I really, really wanted to like this one.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Everything was there, but it was almost like just not original enough. It's almost like they just kind of grabbed like different aspects of like what they heard about Star Wars, like, oh, siblings, oh, somebody betrays whatever that they originally thought it was.
Mhm.
Fun little droid thrown in there, and then you know, all these different things. Just like it was good, and I thought it could have been like up there, but something was missing, or almost there was almost too much there, where I
Was
just
this
couldn't
the-
get into it.
Was this the first episode that said I have a bad feeling about this? I feel like that
Yeah,
was
I
this
definitely remember there being like a Star Wars quote.
I
in
was
this
like
one.
that.
Yeah,
That's the
because at one
first one.
point it started picking up a lot. Like it
Yeah, like
started
5
like,
in a row.
yeah.
Yeah, no, this one, yeah, I think they really just like, I mean, they took the twins trope, like, you know, bonded at birth, and then one of them doesn't agree. But like, I just didn't believe him not agreeing. And he was like way too like excited about it for like being a Darksider his whole life. Like
Yeah.
something about it. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't believe this. And it was Neil Patrick
Yeah.
Harris.
See, I feel like they should have had some more lead up. It should have been like a whole series instead of just one, because they just kind of put it all in. But I will say this was I think the best fight scene. I think like it was just dramatic and like it was like a season finale sort of thing. Also, some people were like, oh, they were fighting like in space and all that stuff and they could breathe. They were genetically altered, like that's how they were made. They
Good
probably
point.
weren't made to be like
Mhm.
super whatever, but they could breathe in space if that's how they were made.
Yeah, you just have to go into the like this, like, you know what, whatever.
Yep.
They can
Have
breathe in
to
space,
have
they can
some
talk in space, but also
creativity.
Leia floated through space in the sequels. So let's not
Mhm.
forget about that. So yeah, I wasn't
BJ,
mad
was gonna
about
say,
that.
I'm going to like I'm literally going to erase my notes right now. I said also, how are they breathing in space?
Yeah, see?
Because that
There's
was
some
more of like a genuine
creativity.
question. I knew there must be an answer because like for some reason the armor played a big part. Like I don't know, this kyber crystal can affect our armor, which can help with our skin, like our bodies.
They
with all
were
this. Like
they were made in a lab, so they probably don't need to breathe. And it's Star Wars. And this episode actually wasn't it supposed to be like thousands of years or 1,000 years after the main series.
that's cool.
So yeah, I think so. I think I read something about that.
I think it was this one that like there's that droid at the end. Is it the right one I'm thinking about where the droid at the end and it has a helmet on? Like it has like an astronaut helmet on.
Oh
I was
yeah,
just dying
I
laughing
was
at
like,
that.
oh no.
It's
I
like-
was like, the droid needs to breathe, but the twins don't.
Yeah, they're fine, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I think, yeah, what like I like what Nick said, where they took pieces from Star Wars, like this quote, like this trope, this, and then they went to anime and they said, you know, this personality, this trope, and like they just kind of threw it
Mhm.
together. And they're like, all right, let's
Yeah.
draw it up.
Yeah, animation wise, it was an amazing fight.
It was a cool
and-
fight. The force powers, the red versus
Yeah.
blue vibe. It was cool. And I think it was like
also
13.
this one is, I think it's done by the same person who did the movie Promare. You can find that on HBO Max. It's very similar. Like one of the people looks exactly like the twins.
Word.
Yeah, I think like I agree with you, Nick, where like this was one that I went into it being like, oh, I'm gonna like this. This is probably gonna be my favorite. And then after it, I was like, it was more like middle of the road for me.
Yeah. It kind of had some Ben Solo vibes to it too with one of the twins, which was like, it's almost like they almost kind of messed it up in The Force Awakens, where it's like, I wish we could, and not The Force Awakens, whatever, Return of the Jedi. It's like, oh man, like I wish we just got more of that. And then it's like this twin's like, well, this is even less of an explanation of like how this guy came to where he was.
Exactly.
But this is kind of BJ what you were saying, just like they were a victim of being a 15-minute episode. And it could have had a storyline to make it like pretty awesome, I bet.
Mhm.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
All right. Well, very well animated, good episode. I'll probably say that about every episode until we get to the tier list. Episode 4 was The Village Bride, and the synopsis is a Jedi on the run takes unique customs of a remote village. So I didn't even know she was on the run until I just read that, and I've typed that out. So I don't remember typing that, but yeah, it's directed by Hiroshi Haga and written by Takahito Unishi. And I mean, this episode was actually really cool. I was telling Nick and Drew, I don't know if you were on the call yet, BJ, before we were recording, but I like missed this episode because I was like doing chores on my house and I joined in the middle of it. I was like, I have no idea what's going on. So I actually just watched that one again, watched it for the first time really today. And I was actually really surprised by it. Not that I thought it was going to be bad or anything, but just not what I expected from the title, The Village Bride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it certainly had one of like the most like interesting, deeper storylines where you're like, oh, that could be like that could be one that like could be expanded on for sure, because it has such like a complicated premise, but that's what makes it like so interesting for it being like what, like a 20-minute episode or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like the theme of like man versus nature, like that's like the tropiest thing of this episode, but I thought it was really good. Like she had some trauma with her master, which I don't think you actually see it unfold? I'm misremembering. I think you just get like glimpses of she's like master, and it was just like unique story. And there wasn't like a Sith Lord or anything, and she was just conflicted if she should intervene and like go back to saving the day after her master passed away. And that's what I'm assuming her trauma is. So I thought it was good.
I liked the relationship she had with that guy who was kind of living on the planet, and he's one of these guys who just kind of is like blended in with the culture, and he understands everything that's going on, and they both know like everything's just kind of like off and it's just not right, like what's going on. But that she sort of gave up like trying to hide. She took the mask off. I think that's how you know she's on the run, because that guy was like telling her to take her mask off or something.
Like quite like literally, and then like emotionally, like take your mask off. Like this is who you are. You are a Jedi. Like cut off your hair, like a new self type of thing. Very cool.
Also, keep going.
I was just saying, this was one where I don't have as much it's like the opposite of how I felt about episode 3. There's not a lot of reason of like why, but when I finished the episode, I was like, this was awesome. I liked the whole storyline of it. This was great. I liked just the feel of everything, how everything went down, but I just don't have like a lot of like tangible reasons as to why I can, pick why I liked it so much.
Is this I don't want to say like the second, maybe third time we've seen a yellow lightsaber too?
Yeah,
that was cool. Yellow lightsabers.
After seeing like the varying changing of lightsabers, like I never expect anyone's lightsaber color to be. When I was watching the show, I was like, oh, that's red. I was like, oh, this is blue or green. I was like, because I watched this one last, and I was like, oh, what color is her lightsaber going to be? And it was yellow. I was like, oh shoot, I wasn't going to guess that color. So and
the way that her shoes like went and while she killed the dude. That was great. I remember Nick. I remember you asking, you're like, how did she do that? And I was like, Zero Suit Samus, same thing. And then you're like, like I have to compare it to something,
Shoes was a big theme in this one with her, or in this series, like that, or like the Sith in episode 1 and like the stilettos, like doing like all the acrobat stuff. I was like, the first thing I said, this is where I became like a Star Wars like a toxic fan. I'm like, well, that's not very practical. I don't see how they should be balancing on that. That was my biggest beef with the whole series. I had more beef with her wearing heels and like running around and jumping than I did with the humans not being able to breathe in space. I'm like, there's got to be an explanation for that one. There's no explanation.
It's the Force. She's actually just
balancing herself with that.
Hey,
it's all about fashion. It's all about fashion.
Yeah, it was a sweet episode. Yeah, probably the most removed from like Star Wars, but still had like the theme of Star Wars, which is like pretty relative when it's for anime and Star Wars. But it felt like it was a very I'm trying to find the right word to say for this, because like the band episode is like the most out there, but this one's like I would say the most unique story wise.
It was cool though how they like dipped into like the whole like separatist thing in this one, right? I'm thinking
Mhm.
yeah, where they were like the battle droids left and everything, and then they used the battle droids or whatever.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking this one was right after Order 66 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. So that's what. Yeah. So then she would be kind of like on the run. So I guess it's like right after that.
Yeah.
I feel like this episode just kind of defines like whenever you hear directors or people in the Star Wars like production world, and they're like, there's just so many more stories in the universe that are not Skywalker, that are not the Jedi necessarily. It's like,
Exactly.
this is a good
Yes.
example of like there is just so much more because it's a literal universe.
Hmm.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. And I like that they're not in space a lot, other than the twins episode for this. Even though it's Star Wars, like it's cool seeing like these like grassy plain land type planets.
Yeah.
And that being
them
like
being on the planets.
It
Yeah.
was like very grounded. Yeah.
Mhm. And so yeah, that's the Village Bride. The next episode is the Ninth Jedi, and I have a feeling that this one is gonna be like the most favored out of just like not just us four, but like as a whole.
Most people who watched it, yeah.
Yeah. So the synopsis is a daughter of a sabersmith is pursued by dark forces, and it's directed by Kenji Kamiyama and is also written by him. And so quick rundown of the story. All these Jedi get sent to this temple because they're reached out to by another Jedi to help them acquire lightsabers. And this I'm guessing this teenage girl, she's the daughter of a sabersmith, and she is going to go deliver the lightsabers to them because the Empire, it's the Empire, maybe First Order, are onto what's going on there because they heard the message. And that's the synopsis without spoiling it. I don't know if we should.
I mean, yeah, we can spoil it. We're
Yeah,
very
so,
spoiled, I think.
Yeah, it turns out that like the 8 Jedi go to this place, or 7, and not including her, Jedi, and 7 of them or 6 of them are Sith or like dark side users. And they all attack the guy who sent the message for them to all meet. And then there's one good guy or 2 good guys, 6 bad guys, and then the girl who's also a good guy. So 3v6.
I thought it was just so cool in this how they like just bent like regular conceptions of like the canon of like this is how lightsabers work. They're always around. This blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
To be like they've been gone for so long, and this is like the last thing that these like Jedi need. And then just the overall rules of them I thought it was really cool. Like I could see like like hardcore like people who are into like canon and stuff would be like pissed, but like again, this isn't canon, so I thought it was just really like cool to see how like the saber kind of like reads off of you, and the length changes and the color
Yeah, that
changes
was
and
really cool.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's not how the crystals work, like in canon or in the books.
Mhm.
It has to bleed for it to be red, then it'll stay bleeding.
Yeah. Also, something very funny that like this happens a couple times in this whole series, but like the names of people are just like so funny because it especially in this one, we were like dying laughing because it was like,
Ethan.
hello, Ethan.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah,
Someone
in a
named
world
Sean.
where people are named Obi-Wan, Anakin, there's an
Yeah.
Ethan still hanging out. Don't worry. No, it was cool. Like, yeah, the biggest
Yeah.
shock was when everyone turned on their lightsaber and they were all red. And then Ethan was like, oh.
Oh,
I love this concept of only 7 or 9, I guess, Jedi are out in the universe still. They're like the only ones who like possibly exist. They
Mhm.
know about like all the Force stuff. It's like so foreign, so alien of like a concept, but there's like this council of them. I thought was really cool. And then it's almost like this could have been like a new trilogy itself, like we were saying before. Like this could have expanded by like the second or third movie. It could have been like that's when they could have done the reveal, like, oh wait, these were Sith the whole time. Like could have shocked us because it was
Mhm.
shocking for. I was invested in these guys like I knew them for longer than 7 minutes, and I was like, oh my god, like no, not you, little
Yeah.
old man. No way, you're a bad guy. And
dude, that kind of looks like Yoda.
yeah, right. So I just thought that was awesome. Also, I mean, they probably could have, if this was a longer series, dove into like, all right, well, this is so probably far after when our understanding of what the Sith and the Jedi really were, that I bet these guys in themselves were like, oh, we're the Sith, we're the good guys. And like there's this crazy Jedi guy who's like pretty dangerous and nobody knows what he's doing. Like, I don't know, I feel like it's like could get into a whole like perception of what is right and wrong. Because to everybody else in like the universe, it's like Sith and Jedi, there's like crazy religions, like that's not really my problem. So it's like it could just be like totally different perspectives really at this point in time.
Yeah, and to be fair, Genu,
point,
like the Jedi guy, was pretty eerie. He was like, kind of a weird dude. So
yeah.
Oh, you go, Drew.
I was just gonna say really quick, just that the visuals in this were like super cool too. Like at the end when they pan away, and then like the station where they were, like it's supposed to look like a lightsaber. It's very like interesting the way they like.
Oh, that's a nice touch. Like that, the animator or the director, like whoever was like, who was like thought of that shot was like, yes, dude, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like this is the one.
This is gonna hit.
So I was also thinking they did a good job, maybe because we already seen the sequels and we're just kind of like, what, and we've had time to think about it. But the girl's dad was like, you have really good like lightsaber skills and all this stuff. And then like 2 minutes later, she's on the whatever bike thing it was, on it backwards, fighting the bad guy. And I'm like, okay, they kind of explained that with episode 1 with Anakin, because he was just using the Force and going into the Force and all that stuff. And then Rey was just super good at the lightsaber for no reason, is what we thought. But it kind of expanded on that and showed that, I think,
some people are just talented.
Well. Yeah, just talented. And then again, going into the Force. I also like the idea of a colorless lightsaber and you like gain it. I know that's not how it really works, but I like the idea.
It's cool. It's like a mood ring.
Yeah. So whoever picks it up, you can only tell from the hilt.
Because like seeing that one change at the end from like red to purple was really cool.
Yeah.
He's like, this isn't you. And he's like, you're right. Purple.
Yeah, that one's, I was like, okay. Again, we could have expanded on that and known more, but it was a short.
Yeah.
Well, because they always said that Mace Windu was kind of teetering like on like the dark side too, because like some of his tactics, like his fighting style,
his form.
Like, it was like his form was like a little iffy. So I think that kind of was why they probably made it purple and everything. So that's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
actually, that makes sense. That's a good little thing because, like, I guess other than Anakin, Mace was the closest one, and that makes sense for that guy since he was the one who was like, "Yeah, it's too dark here." So
he's like, "Oh, the dark."
And he was also the one who said, "I sense like a bunch of dark side energy here. Like, does no one else feel that?" It's funny that worked out, came full circle. So that's the 9th Jedi. Love that episode. And the next one, actually, I have a feeling this is another one that's not going to be like well liked, but I didn't hate it. I thought it was interesting, and it definitely was a play on Astro Boy. This one is called.
Oh yeah, I have some opinions on this.
This one's called Toby, or T0B1, if you'd like. And it's about a cyborg boy who dreams of being a Jedi, and he doesn't know what his professor really is. And so, long story short, his professor is a master. He, the kid calls the Empire to come over, or at least like an Inquisitor or Sith-like person, and kills the professor, his master. And then the boy's like, okay, I have to take on his life story and like, save planets, add life to planets. And then the Inquisitor comes back and then he fights him and he kills him as a little robot kid. But he gets knighted. Like, there were some cool moments in it.
Yeah.
And then he goes off on his journey to give life to other planets.
So this is one that, like, off the bat of like seeing it and like some first reactions I heard, I was like, I don't think I'm really gonna like this one. Like, it just didn't seem like it was interesting to me. But after watching it, I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would. And there's like a lot of just like cool stuff in it where I definitely, it was like a pleasant surprise to me, because what I was hearing before I had watched it, everybody was like, this is literally just Pinocchio. This is like a very skippable one. But after watching it, I was kind of like, I don't know about quite that.
Nick, you go.
I didn't like this one.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I didn't like this one. I thought it was.
Yeah,
the thing is, I don't want to get like so aggressive about it, but like, it's just like, it didn't really make sense, and it wasn't super heartwarming. It was like the whole time he's like, I want to be a boy. He's like, and his master keeps calling him T0B1, and then all of a sudden he's like, has like a glimpse of being a human. He's like, you are now Toby. Like, hey man, how about you just call him Toby to begin with? How about you not be so rude? It's like his one thing he wants to be the human. You can't even make him one. Dude, you can't even call him like a name. And it's like, but aside from that, it was just like, I don't know, man. I'm supposed to expect this little kid droid is gonna beat this like well-seasoned Inquisitor. I know it's me being a toxic Star Wars fan. I don't care. I'll say it. I'll be a toxic Star Wars fan for this one. And it just like I just didn't get it. It didn't make sense. And hand up too, embarrassingly enough, until BJ told me after the end of the episode, I didn't even realize that guy didn't have arms. I just thought they were like in his robes. And so maybe I'm like more upset with myself.
Justin didn't realize until now.
I didn't know
Justin was
that.
not realizing that as well.
I was gonna say like he started like moving boxes really weird. He would like sit in his chair, and I was like, well, it's the future. I guess old men are lazy.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But I don't know. It was just like kind of a snoozer.
Yeah. Okay, so when me and Nick were talking about this, I'm like, you have the creativity of a Star Wars fan. Listen, this guy literally built a robot to have whatever nerds, whatever, to hold the, what is it called? That has a force in it. Meta-chlorian, whatever.
Midi-chlorians? Yeah.
Yeah. Like you just that didn't click. That wasn't
but literally the definition of midichlorians is like, it is all of life around us in the universe. It's
that's
like,
why
okay, well, if it wasn't literally if it wasn't its core function was to be light.
You just see this one because a super smart Jedi created it, and he's super like he's special. This is the only one. Like this isn't easy to do. And he spent like a long time trying to perfect this little kid who has the force. And it's basically the first artificial force user.
Smart Jedi is an oxymoron. There's no such thing. They're all honorable dummies out there. So he's able to. I just think it completely contradicts what the force is supposed to be. It's like not like creativity. It's just like shattering what it is.
Yeah. So in a way, kind of, yeah, it's like it's possible to do this. Of course it's not canon, but that's like kind of what the premise it was. Again, you don't see these androids everywhere. Like not anyone could just make one, but he figured out how to do it, and he's dead too, so I doubt they can make another one. So that's why he's so special.
And the force binds all things, maybe non-living things. But yeah, it was definitely very different episodes. The animation styles, like it looked like Astro Boy, like to a T, other than that the droid is all white. I was like, is this a children's book? But it was like, it was good. And the Santa Master.
Yeah, also the fight scene was a lot better than I thought it was going to be too. I didn't think, I like thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, I thought the fight scene was actually pretty tough.
I'll agree with you there, BJ. I thought it was pretty cool.
All right, the next episode 7, we are nearing the end here, is called The Elder. And this is the episode that I think is the only other one that could be canon, because this one is placed before The Phantom Menace, when there are still tons of Jedi, tons of Master Padawan relationships. So this episode is Jedi and Padawan encounter a dark presence on a planet. And this one is the voices in this one are Jordan Fisher and David Harbour. If you don't know, Jordan Fisher is in a lot of dance movies, I think, but he's also in To All the Boys I Loved Before 2. Yeah, pulled that one.
What a pull.
And David Harbour is obviously in Stranger Things, all that goodness, in the Black Widow. But I like this Padawan master relationship. It's very Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon-y, the Padawan, or Anakin and Obi-Wan-y, like anxious Padawan. He's like, I thrive adventure. We're just going from planet to planet, not doing anything. And the master's like, you don't wish for peace until you don't have it anymore, or something like that. Some cool quote, some mastery.
Have patience, Dan.
Yeah. Is that Dan? Is this
Padawan? Oh, that was Dan.
Like, here comes Dan.
We went from Ethan to Toby to Dan.
Yeah, so they encounter like this Sith-like Jedi who is dude, very creepy, like Gollum,
Yeah.
but like, dude, he was cool. He was a cool bad guy.
Mhm.
And yeah, they fight, and then he injures the Padawan, and then the Master ends up besting him because the Padawan. Have you actually seen Lord of the Rings? Since I mentioned Gollum, like the Merry and Eowyn scene, if you guys have seen Lord of the Rings, where Merry like grabs a foot type of deal. Like, he third parties a duel, kind of uncool, but he saved his master at some
Yeah.
capacity.
This had like
So-
was probably like top 2 for me at least.
Mhm.
The and this was like very like reminiscent of like the end fight. Like you were right, the guy is like super creepy. I thought that was very cool. Very like related to how they did the old Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul and Rebels.
Mhm.
Like where it was like, and which is like a samurai thing that goes like all the way back to its like roots, where it's like like a more of like a mind game than
Oh
like
yeah,
a,
slow and calculated.
yeah. Which I thought was cool. And that guy was so blown when his one lightsaber got broken. The old guy.
Yeah.
He was like so pissed.
And I don't know what it's called when your pupils aren't dilated, like the opposite, where they're like super small and there was just yellow. Dude, I was like, dude, this guy's creepy. Like, this is
Yeah.
cool.
It's
And
cool they made him like super, super old, apparently,
Yeah.
too.
he,
And I guess
That's why he lost. Yeah.
I've
You
read
guys
in the
watch-
past, like, but like super old is in like hundreds of years, right?
Mhm.
Is that what was?
Mhm.
And just because, and I think they kind of used to hint at this with like Palpatine or other people. Is like the Force kind of preserving like how old they actually are,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
being able to look younger and spry.
Have all of you seen The Last Airbender?
Mhm.
He kind of reminds me of Boomy.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
guy's like crazy eyed, but
Kind of
like
eccentric.
yeah, purely evil, this one. But
Yeah. Definitely more creepy. I really like seeing a black Jedi.
mhm.
We barely, except for like Windu, I liked seeing that representation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then when I thought the Elder killed him, I was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
But also,
We're really doing
when
this.
Then I found out he didn't kill him. Like, so he's not. He should have died. But
Yeah.
he shouldn't have
It would've-
died. You know.
Yeah. It would have been pretty cool if like what that Star Wars got that dark and they're like, whoa, they just killed like this
Yeah.
Padawan. That could have been like crazy.
Yeah, like they didn't even kill the master. And like every Disney movie, like, it's like one of the main characters loses a parent. And it's like sad. I'm not saying it's not sad, but like in this one where the younger one dies, you're like, for a second, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they killed this kid.
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
wild. But he's good. He lived. Spoiler. So don't worry.
And then
But
when,
even the master was like, dude, if he was in his prime, this is a different fight.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
ew. And I like
Like-
how he said that power is limited. Like no matter how long you think you can like hold it, like you'll lose control of it, whether it's through age or through pride or whatever.
the whole
you lose your
disintegrating
power.
thing was interesting too. Like
Mhm.
Mhm.
having that happen at the end. Where it's like
Yeah.
another one of those where you're like, oh, this could have been a series. This could have been like a movie kind of thing.
Mhm.
Where you're like, oh, that's just an interesting concept.
Yeah, it could have been an interesting concept if like maybe the Elder like killed both of them. And then it's like, all right, well, it's like we thought Darth Maul was the first Sith, but really like this guy was still a Sith. And the only
Yeah.
reason we didn't find out was because he killed these two Jedi here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, I could totally see this being like another spinoff. But yeah, like you, Drew, this is my second favorite.
Mhm.
Yeah. It could have been like a first episode of a series too. Like he killed him in the first episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
All right,
just
yeah,
like,
great episode. That was
Yeah.
The Elder. So the next episode 8, was called Lope and Ocho. And this one I will say surprised me just based on the thumbnail I was looking at. I was like, oh, I don't know. It's like getting furry vibes, not a bad thing. But like like animal, like humanized animals, which is kind of like I don't know. It's a little
It makes no.
odd
I
to me.
mean, they're aliens. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but this one is
Like-
like clearly like
a
Why?
rabbit.
a rabbit. Yeah.
Like, why?
Was
Yeah.
this
Why was it
Zootopia?
so humanoid too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
But I know like there's some shows that do that. And then so I was like, I don't know. I feel like this was not gonna be my favorite episode. It was actually like very good. A family torn over the safety of their clan. So this bunny girl, forget her name, she gets adopted into this like family that lives on this planet. So vague. Sorry, couldn't be more vague. They live on a planet. But the Empire's about to take over. And the biological father and the sister, like his biological daughter, they disagree on what they should do, like side of the Empire or rebel. And then Lope, who's the bunny girl, is like trying to like fix matters between them. And that's the episode. And so her sister becomes evil, and the dad, they go and fight, but he gifts the inheritance of the lightsaber that's passed down in their family to the adopted bunny daughter. So yeah, and she like saves the day, and that's the story.
For this one, I really like the lore behind how they had the lightsaber.
Mhm.
Like there was a Jedi, he decided to settle down and passed on like the ways of the lightsaber and passes down. And then it also showed that just because you're not like blood related, you're still family and everything. And that was great. I love that part.
Yeah, no, that is important. I think like just diversity, like there's different types of families, they're not all blood, and I think that's important representation to have. So that was cool. And the only gripe I have with this episode is she's like, you know what, I have the Force and I have it right now, and like gets the lightsaber.
Yes, but again, it was a short. It would have built up. It was a series.
And if it was a series, that would have been like, if it was a 10 episode
wasn't-
series, like episode 5, she's like, I have the
Yeah.
Force. So
It would have
Yeah,
built up.
didn't we keep saying like throughout the whole episode of just being like, that is a lot of fall damage?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's bunny. Bunny's
She's a bunny, so she's fine.
Yeah.
I also like
rubber
the
bone.
whole super anime thing where she bites her thumb and then puts the
Oh yeah.
blood on her eyes as makeup. It's like very anime to bite your thumb and blood comes out.
And it's also very anime. It's like not the first time it's happened in the series to like reveal a new identity. And it happens just in person in general. But people get haircuts, like I need a fresh start, whether it's like big or small. In her case, it was very big because she's becoming bad. But she's like, cut the hair. I'm not, that's the old me. So
Yeah.
The dad was funny where I mean he made obviously like all the right choices, everything, like passing the lightsaber to his furry daughter, but like I thought it was funny how she comes back and she's like, hey, your real daughter, like I think she's gonna go side with the other guys. And he was like, all right, she's out. And it's like immediately like it's like didn't really think about it. He's like, you come with me, let's go, and gives it to Tribeca. Not much
Yeah, again,
contemplation going on in there.
Yeah.
But
Again, I just think there wasn't enough explanation and time because I was just thinking like they had built up to the point where this is like the last straw with the Empire, and then like he had to give it to her because there was no other way. It was like the urgency.
it was a cool fight
agree.
scene too, where they were like him and his boys, and then like them at the base, and they were fighting. And then of course like the bunny like hops in, he's like, huh? And then boom, and does his other eye. And it's like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, he screamed, Daredevil.
yeah.
Me and Drew are watching the whole Netflix Marvel series right now. So
Have you gotten to the
super-
Bullseye episodes of Daredevil yet, or no?
What'd you say?
Oh,
We
no.
finished season 2 and we're on Luke Cage.
Okay, cool. Just curious. We'll go into the next episode of Visions. We can dive into that. But the last episode of Visions for this season, I think there's a season 2, right?
Oh,
I don't know if it's been announced yet, but I think a lot of people are saying that it's
Yeah, it would be cool. And if it's not, the last episode. This one's called Akakiri, and it's Jedi returns to his forbidden love to help defend her kingdom from a Sith-like shogun, and it is directed by Yin Young Choi and written by Yuichiro Kido. And I will say the first, like, if this episode's 15 minutes, the first 10 minutes, I was like, I don't know if I really like this episode, but the way the episode ended really turned it around for me.
Yeah, I
And,
think the ending is like the biggest takeaway from
Yeah, and I was
this.
like, is it about to end right now? And then it did. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I like this episode. So,
just-
he's trying to say, he goes back to meet his long lost love, and they like journey to this city. The journey part, I was like, I don't care about this because they're gonna make it. But then, long story short, they get to the temple where they battle the Shogun. And he's like he's been having like trauma, PTSD type visions the whole time.
Mhm.
And then
No pun
during this,
intended.
the guy dresses up, or the evil shogun, I forget her name, she dresses up his love into like one of the guy's armors, and he accidentally kills her. And then he's like, "Oh my god, I want to bring her back." And then she does like the Palpatine thing, where it's like, "Whoa, you could like, we could save her." She's like, "She's dead," and he's like, or she, sorry, I keep messing it up. But she's like, not entirely. And then
not for the Sith.
yeah, and it was cool. And then he heals her, and he's like, "I have to like, I'm like in your debt" type of deal, like Darth Vader or
Mhm.
just like the Sith like relationship.
Yeah, I think for this one, they should have switched this one in the Elder and had the Elder be last, and this one be wherever the Elder was. Just because it was like after it ended, I was like, "Oh, he's evil," and that was the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, okay. But what I liked the most about that, other than like just the fact that he turned evil, all that stuff, like it was kind of boring, like in the middle part, but the way the lightsabers moved was really cool. Just like that after shot, that after image of the lightsabers. Yeah, that, and then I guess the lady was kind of original. The Sith Lord was original, but
She killed her brother. Is that what it was? So her brother was in charge, right? Is that what?
I think so.
that was a lady. The
No,
Sith
like,
lady.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the person that she killed was the
Oh.
To get her position as.
Okay.
Oh, her brother, I think so. Right?
Because that's why he came back. He was like, "I gotta take down your aunt or whoever it was."
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That I thought she was cool. But yeah, I mean, Justin, I completely agree with like, the journey is boring because it's like, okay, we know they're gonna get there. Typically, a journey is for like character development. Like, there was none. It was just like, I don't know what it was, but yeah, there was no development at all.
Yeah, the only thing that I could say was that developed was that he's willing to go the extra mile for who he goes with. He goes back and saves that guy, so he's willing to like. That's like the only thing, and I just made that connection right now. Like now,
yeah, we see that he's good, and then turns evil because he wants to save her. But
yeah, because of possession, connection to others. Drop that to be a Jedi. Don't love anyone. Love only a Jedi.
BJ, I totally agree though. This was the one where I was thinking was like a boring what if. I've never seen the Marvel What If series, but this is my interpretation of what like a boring what if would have been, where it was like, what if Anakin didn't kill Padme? It's like, well, he's evil, and then they break up, and
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, they don't make it anyway, so don't worry.
Yeah, so
yeah, no, I thought it was cool. And
wait, you haven't seen What If?
I've seen the premise of the different What If episodes. It was like they all just seem kind of dumb.
They aren't.
Like, I actually haven't watched it since.
It's like, what if this character was actually this character? Like, pretty crazy.
That was a funny
story. And it is crazy, and then you find out, and then some of them are gonna like actually be in, like, this is canon. Like some of them are gonna be in it, like Captain Carter.
Like, oh yeah, I've heard of like the Captain Carter stuff. See, that one kind of makes sense. But
yeah,
the T'Challa one
cool
makes
stuff,
sense, and once you see it, yeah.
Is that the one where he's Chris Pratt?
Yeah.
He's Star
Lord. Yeah.
Star Lord.
You'll see. You say that, but you haven't watched.
I won't see. I won't see though. That's the
thing. I'll read about it one day on Twitter.
I saw a thing for like a meme about Chris Pratt. He's like, I'm not the best Chris, but am I even the like? Or it's like, I'm not the best Chris, and someone's like, you're not even the best Star Lord.
Oh my god,
that's very true.
That's so funny. Now he's Mario. Look at him.
Yep.
So, yeah, so that was the last episode of Visions. Does anyone else have any other thoughts on that, or the show as a whole? We can get quick little visuals when we make this tier list.
No, I think
let's dive into the tier list.
Let's shed some tears.
All right, we're here. So here are the episodes. So you guys can see this?
Yep.
Can you guys, I've always pretended to understand what S tier meant. I can see by the ranking it's higher than A, but why is there not just A through E?
I've always
it's just like Japanese, how they did it. It just starts with S.
Yeah. The reason that I know this is from like racing video games. I don't know if you ever played like Forza or Gran Turismo, but they have like S tier cars. So that's
Okay.
the only reason it made sense to me. I was trying to get rid of this line,
Okay,
but
okay.
whatever.
I knew it from Naruto because S rank missions were the hardest. They're just like A is like, oh, it's hard, but S is just like so they needed
Yeah,
to
like
do
good
a
luck.
whole nother level of it.
hmm
So those are like rare, like super just amazing.
Okay. Okay. Are they treated that way though when people make rankings? Like, or are we just gonna all rank like our favorite like 3 in S tier?
No,
Yeah.
we'll do a majority because I don't think we'll be unanimous. So we'll.
Okay.
Oh,
I think S tier is just like the elite of the elite kind of thing, and then like A is like really good kind of thing, I guess.
I just think there's no way of me understanding this to its full depth. And that's on me. That's not on you guys. That's on me.
Is this even Star Wars? Is this the last
all right. So I mean, we'll do it how they have it ordered. So let's start with the last one, Akakiri, the one we just described. So what did you? I gut feeling because of the ending. I'm gonna say C tier. We can debate or we can all agree. Doesn't matter.
I personally think it's C tier.
I was gonna say C as well.
There's just so many tiers. Like I think I could do this with like 3 tiers. But like
Oh my God.
Don't worry, we can
Guess
readjust at the end. Just
C. Yeah,
off the
throw me
gut,
down
we'll
for
go
a
C.
C. Throw me down for a C tier.
All right, Tatooine Rhapsody. All right, we'll
Yeah,
just leave
good
that
call.
one there for now. What do you guys?
No. Put that all the way at the bottom.
Bottom.
Unfortunately, it's no. Here's the thing. Unfortunately, it's Super Star Wars. It's like
It
the
is
only
Super
one that
Star
you
Wars.
can
Yeah.
confirm is Star Wars, and that's maybe the worst part about it.
Yeah.
That's
He gets
yeah,
his
I
own
like-
standalone.
tier.
Tier list.
yeah. Okay, that's good.
So Lope and Ocho.
I say B.
B.
Yeah.
Are you being nice or are you just kind of like, I'm just, do you really want to?
I like the premise. I like the animation. I like the lore that it had. It wasn't super amazing. It wasn't super bad.
I think it's better
Okay.
than Akiri.
Do
Yeah.
you think it? Okay. Do you
Here's
think
the
it's
thing,
the
if-
higher than Akiri on C or just straight up B here? We'll throw it on B.
Here's
We'll
the
change
thing.
it.
Here's the thing. If S wasn't so like sacred in this ranking list, I would totally say it's like the third 3 of 5. That being said, if it's that close to like an S tier, now that I know what S tier really means, I don't know. I don't know if I can put it at B. I thought it was, but maybe not.
I'm gonna say for S tier, we're probably only gonna have one episode there.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we
And then the rest
just
are gonna be
should we dive into
All right.
that? Because I'm guessing it's going to be between these 3.
I'm gonna say the Ninth Jedi is S,
Yeah.
the Duel and the Elder are A.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I was
I can
thinking
agree with
too.
that. Yeah,
All right.
totally.
All right, so we'll do this like whichever one's closest to the letter is even better than that. So Duel or the Elder, who is the higher A?
I'll go Elder.
The Elder.
Ah,
Yeah, I am saying that reluctantly as well.
Okay, I will say that this one was such a strong start, which makes
Yeah.
me maybe we revisit this at the end.
Okay.
All right,
Twins, I might say is like B.
which one?
I would say
Twins.
Dude, I'm gonna say the Twins.
Oh
is-
wait, no. I think Twins maybe C. Village Bride like
we skipped one.
a far A or B.
I'm
wait,
I'm
how many
saying
do
the
we have?
Twins is D, dude.
What?
Yeah.
I would say A or B.
A.
I would say B.
A high B.
I'd be higher than
I would
Locust.
actually. I would put it at like C. So we all have it ranked differently.
Yeah, dude, I could settle for C. I just don't think it's good compared to like, it's not better than.
It's just like a shell of an idea.
Yeah.
But the fight scene was so cool, and it was honestly the most dramatic and best fight scene. It was
Uh-huh.
like, again, the season finale. It just needed more to be built up on it because they're again all shorts.
Yeah, but it's
But I
on
could
the
see that was the only one I was, well, not the only one, but the one I was like, I want this whole thing to be a series that I could watch.
I could see it as a
With
good
the-
series, but it's not a series. So okay,
But
I
BJ,
will.
have we discussed how they can breathe in space?
We did.
That was a joke.
Yeah, BJ came in hot. He really stands at this one. So they can breathe in space because they're genetically altered, and they're twins, and they can use the force to contain their
Yeah.
breath.
Why else would they have done that?
Yeah. And like they're twins, they just get each other.
I just
So
don't understand.
I could
Wouldn't
say
get it.
low B.
low B, you won't even. Okay,
I would move Lapinocho, to be honest. Now I'm thinking about it. I might go.
all right, we'll put it here for now, and then Village Bride. I think this is the fourth best one.
I
it's
think I would
A.
put it at the best B.
Mm-hmm. Drew.
Yeah, I would say best B or the lowest A. Like I guess there's not like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
preference.
It's like teetering on that. I will say the Village Bride, it wasn't not interesting, but there was a little lull in it where I was just kind of,
Yeah, it was slower paced, but like the story made sense. Like this one,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like so much going on. But like this got really dark. So these are how long has he been thinking this through? It would be a greater series, but like standalone, and they can't make a series on it now. We know how it ends.
Yeah.
He escapes his sister.
they
I don't
have shorts of a
No.
bunch of stuff.
Actually, the twins is one where we don't know how it ends because doesn't the sister like go off into space and it's kind of like not Kanan Jarrus, who's the other Ezra. It's kind of like an Ezra situation.
Yeah.
Again, stealing from another idea.
Yeah.
But
it
off in
really
space.
did take from a lot of other Star Wars stuff.
I mean, yeah, a lot of Star Wars themes, but also like did Star Wars steal it from like original anime tropes? Is it just coming full circle?
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the twins. This is the one I feel most unsure about because I feel like I like.
Fine. Put it as a high C. Whatever. I don't care.
Dude, we don't have to agree. I'm just making debate for debate, and I actually do stand by this one.
Here's the thing though, the Village Bride. This is tough because the Village Bride is so much better than Lopinocho and the twins. But at the same time, I don't know if it's A level. Now I don't want to knock the twins down to like C or D.
No, I
Yeah.
think
but I just
all right.
it's like the Village Bride is confusing.
I think I have something for that might like make you guys feel good.
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah. Lapinocho.
I'll
settle for that.
I like this a
Also
lot.
2B1, we didn't even discuss that. You just put it there.
Oh, I just know you guys didn't like it. I mean, I would throw
What
it
are
on.
you talking
S
about?
tier.
I really like that
Oh,
one.
you did? Oh, okay. Well, D?
BJ, this was your tier list. Where would you put it? Go with your heart. Just say it. You're gonna say B. Just
I
say
would
B.
put it-
I know you're gonna say
With
B.
this, I would put it after the twins.
The twins.
I thought it was really original and it was something that hadn't been done, as in having a whole droid be force sensitive, which is cool. The premise of the Jedi being in running, then the Inquisitor coming.
You know what? I mean, I just assumed that we'd throw it down there in Tatooine Rhapsody's tier list, but I'm happy to move it up.
Even Drew at the end of it was like, that was better than I thought.
Yeah, it was better.
And
than I
like
thought. I like it better
they
than
really
Tatooine
played
Rhapsody.
it down.
Listen, I got what I wanted, I think, out of my top ones. If you guys want to move Toby up a little bit, I'm not going to be happy about it, but
Okay, it's funny that this one started in B, but how does this look?
It's getting better every time.
I don't agree with that. Hold on
I
a
don't agree with that.
second.
Logan Ocho, yeah.
You're saying,
I don't agree with that.
yeah.
Like honestly,
I like
other
Logan
than
They're
Tatooine
better than
Rhapsody,
Akiri.
I didn't. Akiri, I feel like was the second worst one.
Okay, so how we feel about this?
I like that.
Of course you do.
I'm also fine with it, dude. Like, I get this is the hard part.
Put that at D. Leave Akiri at D, and then I would put 2B1 at C, at the last C as a compromise. Don't add a row.
For the listeners at home, we're adding a middle C purgatory.
And like it's like there, but it's like its own color, you know? It's like not even part of the rainbow. Which color isn't used? Blue. VJ does not look happy at all.
Hey, that's what
BJ's
compromise is.
BJ's going on his computer right now, making his own tier list. Like, well, actually, I would put it there.
Jess, I kind of feel like you and BJ are on the same page with Toby and Lo Pinocho.
With what?
I kind of feel like you and BJ are on the same page, dropping Lo Pinocho and bringing Toby up with a curve and C. But
I'm fine with putting Toby after Lo Pinocho.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the same place, but like, you know, getting the C feels much better than getting the D. If you were the creator of Toby, and if you were the writer or had any part in Tatooine Rhapsody, you know, your vision, it's fantastic. You know, I'm glad that you got to tell your story. There you go.
I got a feeling too that like you three are all pretty cool with Toby. I'm the only one who like really dislikes it, I think. So
Yeah.
I am an outlier here, so I can settle for end of C. Unless Drew, you want to back me up here?
I think I'm cool with last C being Toby.
Yeah, me too.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that looks pretty right to me from like how
Yeah, same.
I kind of think about how I would put it. Like the Akiri at D is totally cool with me just because I feel like the only redeeming thing, like we were saying, is like the ending, which is like, oh, but then like the rest of it is just like, where are we going?
Yeah, the ending really saved it from being a Tatooine Rhapsody tier. And
Yeah.
the
I mean, the
animation
ending
was
too
kind
is-
of odd too. I
BJ,
like
me
the
and you
fight.
are kind of on this. BJ, me and you are kind of on the same page with the Akakiri one too. Like the ending was like, so he's evil. And it's like even the ending is like it saved it from being Tatooine Rhapsody, but it's like that's why I think it's deep for a reason.
Mhm.
Yeah. Again, but I wonder if our perceptions would have changed if the Elder was last. I definitely think we would have loved the Elder either way, but that should have been the last episode that we watched.
Yeah, it's like I feel like they place these episodes like how artists make their albums, you know, like how the track list, the episode list is important. Obviously, it is for like continuous story, but for this one, like I bet you if the duel wasn't first and it was one of the later episodes, like it was really cool. But then we got to see like more and more come on, or maybe it would have done worse if it was later on because it set the pace a different way. So I think that was important on how everything was ordered. Like if
how you watch them.
if Tatooine Rhapsody's first, like I'm a believer in getting the hard things out of the way first, but also it would have gotten so many people to stop watching right off the rip. So
Yeah.
It's hard, but then it was
happened
second.
big time.
It was like a filler on an album.
Yeah, it was like it was just enough at the beginning for it to feel like you got it kind of out of the way without it dragging on. And without it like being like, because a lot of people would do that, especially when you drop it all in one day. Like people would just be like, I guess this series like sucks, so I'm not gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a lot to swallow. I guess it's like just lots of
Yeah.
digest.
We should make tier lists more often. I like doing this.
I do too.
So do we like the way this looks? Save it?
Yeah.
I mean, no, but yeah. As a compromise, yes.
What just happened? Okay.
Just a quick ad.
As a compromise, yes, BJ. Agreed.
All right, she's saved.
What was the moral of making Toby force sensitive? What was like the moral of it? Every other story had like some sort of like driving point. This is just a robot who can use the force.
I want to be a real.
Yeah, and he wanted to go out and be a Jedi.
He's going out being a farmer.
Oh, he wanted to go and help like other places, like have life and like be good, and he can fight because he had the Force.
Who's he gonna fight? Like the crops, like the
Other
scarecrows.
farmers.
There's like land disputes.
Yep, I guess. Calculate.
Relating.
You need to watch more anime. You need some more creativity up in the.
Dude,
noggin.
I've seen like 8 different.
There we go.
So. I'm not. It's nothing to. It's nothing to sneeze at.
So yeah, wait for the listeners just to go back to this. If you're listening, you're not watching. Our tier list, our tiers are S, A, B, C, D, Tatooine Rhapsody. Those are the tier lists. So don't be confused when you hear Tatooine Rhapsody. So S tier, Ninth Jedi. A tier is the Elder, then the Duel. B tier is the Village Bride. C tier is the Twins, Lope and Ocho, and then Toby. And then D tier is Akakiri, and then Tatooine Rhapsody tier is Tatooine Rhapsody. So, let us know if you agree, if your comment, or, let us know if you agree with our tier list, or if you would change it, or if you think that like we are genius level intellect and we know what the consumers want and all that. So let us know what you think.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a good place to wrap up. Thank you guys for listening again. Nick, thank you for being our first return guest. A big round of applause. Appreciate you coming
Thank
back.
you. I don't think BJ's gonna invite me back ever again, though.
You have to keep
We'll see
dropping
what the viewers. We'll see what the
keep dropping the
viewers
hints on him and texting him about it.
Please let me be on the podcast again.
No, I'm down.
11,
It's great having you on, and we'll definitely make another tier list when you're on too. Like, so much fun.
Cool. That was fun. I like that a lot.
Oh well,
Thanks, everybody.
you
Thanks,
guys
viewers.
absolutely, yeah. You know where you can find us all over the place. Bad Batch Podcast, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, which this one will be on YouTube, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Peace.
Bye, guys.